Okay. Give another minute or two for some people to show up before I get started. On it. And fine video. All right, I think I should get started instead of waiting around too long. So today you will definitely have time to wrap up whatever you were working on last time. But before we do that, I'm going to spend less than the first hour just kind of showcasing some video editing stuff. And so the rationale behind this is that we've talked about image editing to try to make graphs more clear, give a little bit more pop, or trying to figure out how we want to format data. There may be cases in which trying to stitch together a video is a called for skill in what you're doing. And I'm going to talk first about like some introductory pros, cons, further rationale behind these things before I actually give a demo on some video editing tools. So to start off, if it lets me. Hello. So why bother making videos? Well, there are some really big benefits that videos can have towards trying to convey what content you're trying to convey. So a key reason why I've made videos that I've put up on the web is for demonstration purposes. So this can be either demonstrating how to work with a program that is kind of obtuse, hence the videos that I've had as far as demos for first week of lab, those count as videos I've uploaded. Or sometimes you need to actually see how something is done live to figure out all the little nuances of it. And so that's where lab technique demo videos are also important. Now, the idea here is that you want to create some sort of unique content that is going to deliver something to whatever platform you're putting it on. And one of my videos definitely goes into a lot of detail about how to do a certain tissue staining technique. Rather than playing it now, I think I'm going to play it afterwards. So after I'm done showing a little bit of the video editing tools stuff, I'll show you what the completed product can look like. But it basically has a lot of detail in it. And it's not like I'm trying to pull a ton of views, but it is there for people who need it. So I don't care if I only get like 200 views on it over the next year or two. The fact is that out of those 200 people, I hope that there are a few researchers that found it extremely helpful in order to do their thing. You've probably been in that scenario where you're trying to look up information about how to do something or trying to find some background info on this or that, and it's hard to find. Or it's hard to find some sort of explanation of, well, what do you do in this sort of niche scenario? And so that's the sort of thing that ultimately we'd like to provide by having these video demonstrations. I want to emphasize the idea about creating unique content. A lot of people create videos and they do exactly what other videos do on a site. And that's basically a question of, okay, now you're just competing with people. And the problem with trying to compete instead of having a collaborative mindset is that from what we've seen on YouTube, as well as other platforms, competition seems to breed the creation of videos that are meant to pull an audience for clicks, views, engagement, etc., rather than for accuracy of the material, utility of the material, or even just personal enrichment of sharing the info provided. So I recommend that whatever you do to create a video shifts away from the garbage kind of approach of these video platforms that are so centered on engagement rather than trying to make it for a specific purpose. So there are certain barriers that are circumvented by providing it on a free platform. So these can be certain barriers like geographic distance for when somebody can't just show up to your lab to learn how to do something. Certain financial burdens are imposed for people that can't get access to a paper. We've all seen the paywall in trying to get research articles online. So having things on a free platform gets around that, as well as just reading text or trying to interpret static pictures. That might cause some problems in trying to actually do it hands-on. It's not quite the same thing as actually seeing it in live motion. So this is why I kind of prioritize the video creation aspects of what I do with training. In particular with training, I think that it's extremely important because imagine how much time somebody who trains students, trainees, employees, etc., how many times they had to kind of go through the same thing. I think that if we're going to utilize technology for the sake of efficiency, not to get rid of people's jobs, but in order to lessen the workload burden, we should take it upon ourselves to utilize these methods of trying to recapture what we did in a training session so it can be reused. And that way we could spend more time to do other things. This is not to relegate training to just video only, but to take care of like the brunt work of doing the training, and then the nuances can be worked out afterward. A little bit more rationale. Online platforms definitely allow for feedback, commentary, etc. There are video platforms that add production value and also have a peer review process. One of these is called the Journal of Visualized Experiments, or JOVE for short. Some of you may have heard of this. And this one, it's pretty cool, but there are some downsides. Generally, when I've been solicited by them to do a demonstration of a paper I published back around 2020. And I was like, maybe I will do it. But there were some certain hurdles, like I wasn't in the lab to do the demonstration for them in person. And also the price tag was like multiple thousands of dollars up front if I filmed it myself. If they were filming it, doubled. So not everybody has a few $1,000s chump change to just toss out to somebody who wants to record stuff. And another hurdle with trying to put it on one of these curated archives is that what you're putting up, it may not be significantly different from what they have. So they may not accept it then. It's kind of like, well, if the research was already done this way, or if the video is basically showing something they already have a video for, why would they put it up there? Even if there are key differences that you want to highlight, they're like, this isn't a totally different procedure, so we're not interested. So this leans into why these other platforms that are public have a little bit more of a benefit to them. Don't have to pay for access. This is both applicable to viewers and the person submitting the video. The thing that's kind of messed up about the Jove system is that the people who submit the video, the people in the lab recording it, they have to pay a certain fee if it's open access. And if it's not open access, then the people on the other end that are trying to view the video have to pay a lesser fee. And so what doing it on a public free platform does is that it reduces or eliminates costs for both parties involved. And I think that is one of the significant financial barriers involved when it comes to trying to disseminate scientific ideas. Additionally, unlike with Jove, your videos do not have to be full fleshed out projects or experiments that have multiple parts to them. They could be short things like tips about how to use this program in this particular way for this lab exercise. So they don't have to be fully exhaustive. They don't have to delve into new research. They're demonstration videos. And certainly your info can be accessible to a wider audience. Not that many people may have access to Jove. Aside from the financial issues, not many people might be able to find articles that point to Jove specifically. Like if you're doing a Google search or whatever other search engine you're using, you may find links that point to this site, but you are probably more likely to find them on a much larger public platform. So those would be how you get to a wider audience as far as viewability. The thing I want to underscore, though, here that should not be understated is that these video journal archives are peer reviewed typically. So Jove in particular is the one big peer reviewed example. And that's not something that you exactly get on YouTube. If you want to talk about peer review on YouTube, they have just content guidelines to not be like super explicit or violent or things like that. That's not really peer review as we know it. So there isn't any sort of contingency to validate how good the video's content is. So it is up to the person who's submitting it to try to be relatively qualified in what they're doing and to be very open to feedback from whoever's commenting on the video. Okay, so that's a bit of the rationale. There are some benefits that we kind of have elaborated on already. For instance, documents might not have the nuance and details about how physically to do a thing. Diagrams lack the movement aspect, even if they show how things are arranged. Audio recordings, they lack the visuals, even if they kind of verbally walk you through something, you don't see exactly what the positioning is or the force applied is. And even if you have audio plus diagrams, you don't get a sense for how much force needs to be applied in very specific scenarios, especially if that force could make or literally break an experiment. So there are some questions to consider before you'll jump into something like this. Firstly, is the content that you're creating unique enough, or is there something out there that already demonstrates it perfectly fine? So as far as what I post onto YouTube, I'm not trying to get like 1 million subscribers or anything ridiculous like that. I'm posting it both for undergraduate students to see here and maybe others to benefit from elsewhere. And so I'm not expecting to pull a large audience. I'm just trying to create unique content that is helpful. Does the video significantly improve upon what others show? I have come across some cases where there are videos that are like 2 hours long trying to demonstrate something. And that's considering that I know that I gave you like hour-long demonstration videos for Excel and GIMP. And those are really geared to this lab specifically. But if I'm doing short demo videos, I do have those too on the channel that I've set up where they're like meant to be either timestamps so you could jump through the video to the exact points that you need to see for whatever you're trying to do, or they're really short, like 10 minutes. For instance, one of the programs I use, this thing called ImageJ, there are a lot of demos out there using that program, but they're like easily over an hour long, most of those videos. And so for some very succinct things, I just kind of go into this one function. I'm like, this is how you do it. This is how you use it this way. They're done, 10 minutes. So that's where trying to do shorter videos that get to the point of trying to demonstrate a technique without all the background theory, that's where that serves a purpose. It's not to say you can't have a separate video giving a presentation about that theory, but I think it's important to maybe divide and conquer rather than trying to collect everything into one place if people can just find it on your same channel. Am I qualified to demonstrate this? You may not feel that right now as undergraduates. However, it might be useful if you are working in a lab, especially when you're a senior here at Oxy, and you're used to doing a lab technique a certain way, and you want to try to standardize that process, especially if you're trying to teach it to whoever are the next undergraduates in the chain. Certainly, the PI, the professor that runs the lab, might have a hand in the training, but it may be helpful also to create a video to make the training a little bit more standard and less like, oh, we have to schedule it with people, we do it this way. It might give a little bit more room for that background and again, cut down on the training time and variability that can happen. So that's in particular what I do with some of the training videos that I've uploaded. Is the information that I want to share in the video in any way confidential? You don't want to publish projects on YouTube that are active research projects that are unfinished, because somebody could take that data and then publish it on their own, and then you basically don't get a publication with your name on it. So that's the case of what we call being scooped in the field, competitive and unfortunate as it may be. So as long as you've addressed these questions sufficiently, I'd say that you're probably good for starting out on a planning phase. I'm going to try to do a quick run through on this because I don't want it to turn into too much of a dry PowerPoint thing, but I do want to cover these ideas. I think it is important to do script writing because script writing forces you to plan. If you're just going into video like, oh yeah, I'll just hold up a camera while people are doing these things, it may not make a good video demonstration. The script writing will help you organize your ideas about what tools are needed, where they're needed, how they're needed, what order of events you're going to try to do things, and so on and so forth. Certainly, if you write a good script to plan out ahead, it'll decrease the need to try to reshoot stuff with video recording and to have to edit it a ton in post. Definitely, if you're script writing, you should always keep your terminology accessible. This is particularly important when you're trying to cut down on technical speak for a broad audience, and particularly helpful for when people do not use English as their first language. For some of my videos, I got people commenting that I don't think English is their first language, and I try to keep it as accessible terminology as possible to make sure that it's like usable and not like I'm trying to be like high and mighty brainiac over here by hiding behind a wall of really hard to understand terms. Okay. Consider any info that would be helpful to include. Think about whether it's enough to have it in the audio or whether you need to actually put it on screen as little factoids while the video is going. Exclude any unnecessary stuff or if it's confusing or poor quality. And prior to shooting, as I kind of implicated before, make sure all the tools are there, make sure all the reagents that you might need are there, make sure that where you're trying to do the demo space-wise works, figure out your camera's position and where it's going to be throughout the shoot, and also when you can take breaks. Do not assume you're going to do it all in one go. Recording tools. We've got a few easy examples here. So if you're just doing screen share, screen capture, Zoom is fine generally. There's a little bit more of a sophisticated thing called open broadcasting software. For trying to do live capture of hands-on stuff, definitely you could use webcam on your laptop, but you could imagine how clunky that could be position-wise. Phone camera obviously has a lot more versatility, so that's the one we're going to focus on here. If you are shooting with your phone, autofocus can work against you. So if you are trying to position yourself or there's any amount that the camera person has to move, try to see if you could turn autofocus to something more manual. If you're shooting with phone, limited memory might be a thing if you're taking big high resolution videos. So do consider that. In the video editing portion, some phones do have video editing apps, but they're not like, they don't have all the bells and whistles. So that's where trying to transfer it to computers more sensible. And if you're going to try to edit on a computer, then consider how you might transfer it to your PC or Mac. So keep in mind that cloud storage usually has limited capacity. You don't want to just fill that up with giant videos. And also that if you're trying to connect via Wi-Fi or via 5G, that can be interrupted and there can be loss in the video. So I do suggest using a wired connected directly to the computer. As for taking the shot, consider who's actually holding the camera. To this point, if no one is holding the camera, I do have an illustrative visual aid. So I have a picture here for people that watch this in post, but this is a thing I've used for some of my video demos. You could pass it around and play around with it while I'm talking. So that's something that can just holster a phone video camera setup, and you can kind of use this multi-jointed articulating thing to bend it in different directions. You can even kind of hook it around on things to hang if you feel comfortable doing something like that. Yeah, see, perfect. Of course, if somebody needs to be there to give like a closer look, if you can't position a camera stand in a certain way to do it, then You have to give the camera person clear directions. So it'd be really frustrating if you did a really good demo and then they were like too far away, too much shade. They were breathing really heavily next to the phone, like some really awkward kind of stuff. You want to make sure the camera person is aware of the following. The shot being in focus, the recording angle being the correct viewpoint you want, case in point, nothing that's in a really compromising angle of view. If they're putting a shadow onto whatever the demo is, they should try to stand out of the way of wherever that shadow is casting. Good videos, you don't really know the camera person's there. And how much noise they make, the breathing example again. Any reflections off of surfaces, you shouldn't even really see the camera person if you can avoid it. Other quick tips. Background noise. Hopefully you're not in a situation where you have to worry about that too much, but if there's construction, try to record somewhere else. You don't want to rely on the idea that you could edit it out in post while also having any audio that you're adding alongside it. It's going to be really hard to split up those two things. If the mic is close to your mouth and the sounds that are noise in the background are low enough, you might be able to separate it out with editing, but it's not something I think that you should rely on. Shooting in fragments. Don't do an all-in-one take thing. The reason why in the movie industry, they're like, oh man, they did that whole thing in one take. It was crazy. It's because it's really hard. It's really hard to do. So I suggest shooting in fragments because things can go wrong in any one take. And the idea of doing everything again and again in a long take is painstaking for sure. So you'll want to shoot several small videos. You can stitch them together with editing. Certainly allows you a lot more flexibility to rearrange things. That said, if you did have a longer video that you wanted to edit, you can cut up the long video and rearrange things on an editor. So that's always a possibility. If audio is a problem, you could always just record something else later. So you can stitch in audio tracks into whatever your video is with video editing tools. So certainly if you are working in a noisy environment trying to do your demo, you can just say, no, we're just going to do the video here. We'll cut out the audio and fix it in post. And that's something you can totally do. So you go to a quiet setting, you then record the audio. You certainly don't need to talk during the demo then, because the problem is, imagine that you're doing a demo and you're trying to talk and think at the same time, but then you're also maybe trying to read from a script. Kind of hard to juggle all of those things. So I would suggest that you try to do audio recording separately, where you can read from a script and you don't have to worry about it interfering with your activities. You'll also have better control over the voice volume that you're putting out, the pacing of your voice, and whether you have to re-record small audio takes in small chunks. And again, the all-in-one take being something you should avoid. There are some drawbacks with timing. Now, if the video is like 60 seconds long, but you want to put an audio segment that's only 30 seconds long, there are some ways to figure that out. You could just try to re-record the audio while you're watching the video so you can chime in at the important points and then make the audio exactly the same length as the video. You could also adjust the video speed in the editor. So you can speed up the video or you could slow it down to be in sync with whatever you're showing in the audio. If you're not recording via Zoom with a screen share situation or with live video, but you still want to do captions, one other option is that if you have a complete video, you can take out the audio track and you can run it through Office 365 Word and it will generate an automatic transcript. I think you get unlimited goes at that through Occidental here. So you can actually get a transcript being created for a whole video in this way. All right, so a few things about why we bother editing, and then I'll show the actual editing process. Certainly, I mentioned the idea of dropping out noise or cutting out the original audio track, adding new audio. You might need to actually add text for more detail on the video itself in case the audio lacks it. You may need to cut out or rearrange the bits in video, and you may need to alter playback speed. And these are just some examples of why we care about that. So from here on, I'll demonstrate the tool Adobe Premiere Rush as like the tool I've used so far. And I also want to kind of highlight that I'm by no means an expert, but I've built up experience toying around with this over the last year and a half that I think is kind of something that people should be more aware of. And then also how I've uploaded things to a public platform like YouTube. All right, so let me just go ahead and start this up here. Also, I'll take my legged little friend back here. All right. Oh, I didn't realize that was in there. Okay, let's see if I can actually do this over. Nope. All right. So let's say we're going to create a new project. And by the way, if you're going to be downloading this, if you want to play around with it here, if you're done with your other image editing lab stuff early, you should probably download it to your computer, see if it works with your operating system. Don't click on the buy now option when you search for it on the web. Just click for the try it out, and then it'll give you the free download, and there you go. Shouldn't have to pay anything for this one. We'll create a new project. We'll just call it blah, because why not? And if we go to documents, we should have some options here. So I will want to include this video, this static image, and then this sound effect. And so we'll put this together sort of automatically for me, and then we'll go from there. So we will hit create. So this is what it looks like when we are zoomed in on a very short video. I'm going to just move the bike audio effect out here, bike horn. You'll hear it in a second. And I will turn up the sound on my end over here. Just gotta check the volume real quick so I don't blow up all of our ears. Is it transmitting? Let's select the sound output. No, we're gonna go to here. Go back. There we go. Nope, nope, too much. Okay. Alrighty. Some of you might guess as to what I'm gonna do. So I got a short video clip, and let me show you a few things that we could do here. You all also might be wondering, like, oh, what's with the black thing here? So one thing you can do to create a transition between video segments is you can have just a static black image, and you can expand how long it's on screen to whatever you want, and you can add text onto that black image. So that's something I do in order to kind of put transitions into my videos, as you'll see an example of in a little bit. We're going to put this one over here. We're going to put this over here. First, we're going to add some text onto this. So we're going to go into graphics. I think add graphic. It'll give us a bunch of options. I prefer looking at some of the titles that I could change into just normal text. So where is that one? It's this one right here. So this is just a static block of text. And again, anything that is on screen, we could control how long it's on screen by just stretching it or switching it down horizontally. What I'm going to also do is let me just pull back how zoomed in we are. So see if it lets me do that. Control minus, shift minus, nope. That's the text box again. Okay, no. Deselect, okay. Come on. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, if you use the scroll bar on the bottom and you click one of the ends, you can actually zoom the video out. So you're not so zoomed in on the time scale. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this text box thing I just created, and I'm going to sync it up with how long the image is up here. We're going to get rid of that subtitle part, and we're just going to put into the text here. Move this down into place. You can certainly edit the text as you'd like. So font size could go up or down, color, outline, shadow, all that sort of stuff. So we don't need to get into the particulars of that. You can do transitions on the text. So if we click on this other little lightning icon where it shows effects, we can say, okay, we have this thing selected. We see a yellow surrounding here. And we're going to say wipe left. So that way, it's going to wipe left to appear and then wipe left to disappear at a certain rate. And you can actually expand the transitions as well. So these little things that popped up, these gray things, they can be adjusted to be fast transitions or like much slower kind of transitions. Now, for the audio part, you already know what I sound like. What we can do is we can separate out the audio track and then actually cut it out. So there's an option here that says expand audio. I've done that here. And then what we can do is we can go to here, the audio option, and we could say mute. So now that has muted my own audio. One thing that's kind of cool is that it'll give you the sort of sound spectrogram here. You see up here where it has this grayish wave, that's where I'm just saying hello and then trails off. If you want to overlap the sound with something else that you're adding in, you could try to sync that up with the added sound clip here. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, there are 2 bike horn beeps that won't really match up with the hello. So I'm actually going to cut down the sound bite as well. And so you can do that by clicking on the the right edge of it, or the left, depending what you want to do, and then just drag it to be truncated like that. And then I'll just move it over here. And we'll see how it goes if it syncs up relatively well. So let's go ahead and blow up the player a bit. And we'll go to the beginning and see how it looks. So yeah, I'd say that synchronized. I'd say that synchronized relatively well. So if we did want to try to make it synchronize a little bit better, what we could do is we could actually adjust the speed of the video. So we can go to the little speedometer icon, and we could actually take this speed and go from range speed to maybe something that's longer or shorter. In this case, we probably want it to be slightly shorter. And it could sync up maybe a bit. So if I try to do that again, we could see how that goes. It might actually make it worse, but we'll see. Yeah, so that made it a little bit more out of sync, which is fine. This doesn't need to be a perfect video, but this is just showcasing how this works. All right. So if it's a done thing, then all we need to do is hit share, sort of a different way of saying export. And you have a few options here. You could go into the advanced settings, presets automatic, but you could make the resolution, the lowest it gives you is actually 720p, which is pretty high considering. The frame rate, human vision operates around 60 frames per second. That means that if you change a snapshot that you're seeing 60 times per second, it looks like real motion that we experience in our day-to-day life. A lot of things that are shown on TV or film, they are shot more close to like 30 frames per second. So that's why you can tell the difference between like, oh, this isn't real life because it doesn't look as smooth. If you dial up the frame rate past 60, it starts to look unnaturally smooth. Like there are weird effects that Blu-ray does in that regard, where it's like in excess of 60 frames a second because it doesn't look like normal motion anymore. It looks like it's too fluid. Some people have given those complaints with that. If you want to keep file size down, if you've got a huge honking video, you gotta basically keep the resolution down and the frame rate down. The audio channels may make a difference. In this case, we don't really care about like particularly advanced audio. The frame rate's kind of like already close to lowest. Lowest is like 23.9. And sound video quality can also be reduced. And this estimated video size now is basically 2/5 of what it was before. And all we just do after that is say export, or well, I'll save it to a different directory because I am not going to find it where it's saving it. Video editing, select folder, export. It will process, render, spit it out. Short video means short wait time. And then we're pretty much done. So we can now open it in any other thing. And it just kind of looks like it did before in the player. All right, so let's talk about interacting with the public platform. One thing to keep in mind is how the upload process works. In particular, when I do this through the YouTube platform, this is how I go about it. There's like a YouTube Studio icon that if you have a Google account, you basically have the ability to upload things to a channel. You basically already have a channel and may not ever use it if you don't upload anything of your own. But if you ever comment on YouTube videos, they are associated to your quote channel and profile. You can create separate channels under one profile. You can split them up. You can have multiple. That works. For my channel, if I want to upload things, you can click something like the create button. So I could say, select files, upload. I'm going to do this for demonstration purposes, but it is not going online. I'm going to not actually enable it to go up there. The world doesn't need that. But just to show you the process, it will ask you for title, description. If you want to make like an mention to one of the channels on this platform, you can do that. If you want to insert timestamps, this is where it happens. So one thing that helps a lot for people is if you have a long video and you know people are going to want to jump to one part, you can put into the description, well, important thing happens at 0:03, and it goes minutes, seconds. And if it's like an hour-long thing, then hours, minutes, seconds. And the thing is that once this video is put up and published, it'll extract these numbers from the description and automatically slap the timestamps right into the video. So there will be breaks. And if you put like a little text box as, important, then when you're hovering over the scroll bar for the video playback, it'll actually have important right over the section that it's starting on. If you have another break at that after like maybe at at 5 seconds or something like that. So there's going to be like a 2-second thing that says important right at that 2-second gap. It's super silly, obviously, in this example, but it shows you exactly how you do this with the platform, that you can actually insert timestamps that allow people to skip around without having to just like scroll through the whole video or hunt around for exactly what they need. And so I think timestamping is something that people should utilize a lot when they try to make these kinds of videos. In addition to that, some other things to be aware of. I tend to make my own thumbnails because the selection just otherwise pulls from whatever you have in the video. You may want something that has text and more description than what the video has, so you make something in Paint or GIMP, dare I say it. Playlists, if you want to put it under a certain playlist entry. Audience, there's like some weird regulatory stuff that if it's made for kids, it has to go by certain guidelines. I can't imagine what 5-year-old is going to look at one of my demos about how to use a vibratome to section brain tissue, if I'm being real about this. So not for kids. Other things like paid promotion, if that ever applies, automatic chapters doesn't really apply, places, same thing. Tags, if there's something that people misspell that you might otherwise think, well, you'd find my video if you spelled this correctly. You could put the misspelled version right here so that they're going to find your video more easily. You could also put other tags that like are less often used terms that don't appear in the description or the title, but still apply to your video without being too ridiculous about it. You don't want to put like all the tags in the world. If you have captions, you'd select English. Caption certification is complex regulatory stuff. It basically, you're probably putting up something that doesn't apply to that. So you'll just select the doesn't apply option out of those. And if you select that later on, if you have a separate captions file, you can then have YouTube take that and then stitch it into the video so that when they turn on the little CC button in the playback, they can actually see the captions that are read out. This is how, if you're recording things from Zoom and you record to the cloud, it audio transcribes things automatically, as some of you may have seen in the playback lecture videos I've recorded so far. And those same things can be exported to a transcript file that someplace like YouTube can then take up, or other video editing files can pull in. No license, no other stuff. Embedding's fine, short sample, all that stuff, categorizing. If you expect to get comments, I suggest this middle option of like hold for potentially inappropriate comments for you to review. Not something I've really encountered because I'm not getting like millions of views everywhere. I'm not expecting to get like really weird comments. Most of them have either been like thanks or asking questions. So, you know, I'm fine with those, and I try to encounter those as best as I can. After that, it'll go through various questions about what do you want to add to it, including the transcript stuff, as well as, oh, let's check it for copyright infringement. So this is where I say, don't use copyrighted video, don't use copyrighted audio, because there can be some issues with even just having the video uploaded as that. You might have the channel get copyright struck, in which case at a certain amount of those, it actually bans you from uploading anything or takes your channel offline for like a certain number of months. So they are strict about the copyright stuff because they don't want people putting movies on YouTube, and anything they think looks vaguely like a movie or a music video or anything else like that, they're going to be like, no, you don't get to do that anymore. So do be aware of that. And yeah, beyond that, that's kind of how that works. Let me go ahead and show you the video I was alluding to before, the lab demonstration video. Not the whole thing, because it is a little long, but I'll skip through certain parts of it. So let's go ahead and blow this up in a separate window. So that's a whole lot of gobbledygook, right? A lot of technical terms. I do have a separate video that actually gives a presentation of exactly what this is. So this video is really for people that are like, okay, I use this now, but how do I actually use it? So this is sort of a part 2, if you will. It's issue sections that are at least 30 micrometers thick, or 1x PPS into base. Sections and PPS inside, otherwise cryoprotected, and treat sections in close. Here you can see I'm reaching the event paperclip to pull it up like angle the end of the event. See, it's important for you guys to look at this because you're actually going to be doing this next week. This little part right here of like migrating sections and pushing them around in fluid. And so that was a video cut right there. You saw the transition with the black screen, the text, and then this is where we start off on another video segment. Even if you're going from video chunk to video chunk, what I like to do is have them still do that transition so it's not like jump cuts. It's a little bit less jarring for view. By stabbing the tip of the paper clip section, but instead trying to reach under clumps of section, lift it up like a hanger. Not one. So That kind of goes on for a while. I have various other examples in here. You'll notice as I hover over this that it actually shows the effect of timestamping, where it gives titles to these chunks down here in the playback bar. And that's because in the description, I did exactly that, which I mentioned before. I have a whole timestamp section with all the titles here. So if you're trying to figure out, well, how do I know where exactly I need to look? I would suggest you play your video back on your computer and then take note of what time in the playback a certain new segment starts up that is important. And then you'll write that down, and that's something you'll enter into the description later. And that is about all I wanted to show with video editing. So again, this seems like a kind of hard tangent to the other stuff we learned about in lab, but we could also see the thread of like why this stuff is important, how it relates to other stuff we've seen so far, and also maybe a little bit of a primer on things that incidentally we're working on next week. Do people have follow-up questions about this stuff before we kind of go back to our regularly scheduled program? Alrighty, well, I hope this was helpful and informative. Even if you're not going to be utilizing this approach in the immediate future, I figured it would be helpful to have on hand or to think about these things for if and when you do use it later. All right, all that said, let me just stop recording here, and I can answer any questions related to the image editing stuff.